I'd like to welcome everybody to the Crawford County, Illinois Ghost Hunter Society live talk show. This is our live talk show, episode number 34. Welcome everybody to the show. Trying something a little different tonight. We are rolling with a different version here. Hopefully the lighting and sound is a little better. Give me a thumbs up out there if you guys like this better from our previous show. We've done the lighting and camera a little different tonight, so if you guys can see and hear me better than usual, or the picture looks clearer, let me know. Give us some feedback. But we're gonna have a lot to talk about tonight. Definitely stay tuned here. We're gonna be talking about our recent investigations at the Dutch Lane and Southern Illinois. So definitely stay tuned for that. But you guys can check our website out at crawfordcountyghosthunters.org. If you have not checked that out, definitely look at that. And you can email us at illinoishauntings@gmail.com. Give us an email if you want us to investigate any type of location you may have out there that you might think has the presence of paranormal activity, whether you might believe it's haunted. We will definitely check that out if you guys email us at illinoishauntings@gmail.com. We'll try to get back with you guys as soon as possible. If you're watching on Facebook, it is Facebook.com/Crawford County Ghost Hunters. A lot of people watch our stuff on there, or you can check our YouTube channel out. We do have a YouTube channel, and that is youtube.com/Crawford County Ghost Hunters. If you prefer to watch on YouTube instead of Facebook, definitely check us out over there and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We also have an Instagram you can check out, instagram.com/Crawford County Ghost Hunters, or at Crawford County Ghost Hunters on Instagram. You can check us out on there. We don't post on there very often. I try to keep up with all this stuff, but I'm the webmaster of everything. I do our website, I do our Facebook page, our Instagram, everything. So it's kind of hard to post on everything. Definitely check that out if you can. As always, music tonight was by the Midnight Syndicate, all rights reserved. We use a lot of their music for our intro videos. You can check their website out at midnightsyndicate.com and give them a like. They can also be found on Spotify and YouTube. If you like scary music, definitely check out Midnight Syndicate. I may have a guest tonight. Don't know if he's down in the queue box. I think he is, so I'm going to throw him in there right now. Got one of my team members down there. Going to get him up on there. Again, I'm using a different method here tonight, so hopefully this looks good, guys. Hey, Jareth.
Hey, I was hoping this worked. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you now.
My phone was at a weird angle. Yeah, my phone was at a weird angle. So I was upside down. Okay. I said my phone was at a weird angle, so I was upside down. I was confused.
I got you now.
Yeah.
Okay. So Jareth was upside down. We've got him now. We got Jareth Pinkson joining us tonight, one of my team members. We're going to talk about some of our adventures we took down in Southern Illinois and our investigations we done down there. Try to get to the comments here. I think we're good now. They're saying it's an echo, so I'm trying to see if this lighting and stuff's any better. I changed areas and changed cameras. Chitty and do it live from different rooms tonight. That's funny. A little bit of an echo, but no biggie. Is it good, guys, out there? Give me a thumbs up, or tell us in our. Actually, you have to tell us in our comments if you like this better, if sound's all right, video's all right. And if you can hear us, you guys got to give us some feedback here. I guess they're saying it's a lot better now, but how did that pop up there? We'll get the bugs worked out of this someday. It's only episode number 34. But so Jareth, I want to get started, man. We went investigated down in Southern Illinois the weekend before last, I believe it was. We went down there and we investigated for basically Tammy Jo knew some people down there. It was her birthday. We went down there and investigated a old church and cemetery for the possibility of it being haunted, see if we can pick anything up. Sometimes we just do exploratory stuff. People tell us about an old church or cemetery. We'll check it out to see if we can find anything. That's what we do in a lot of this stuff. Everybody says sounds good, goes and echoes, Jen says. Huh. All right. Hey, Kelly, thanks for joining in. Got Kelly Griffey on here, Jen Newland, Jennifer Baker. Thanks, everybody, for joining tonight. We're going to talk about, what happened to us in Southern Illinois. Wow. What a time in Southern Illinois we had. If you guys are didn't hear about it, we went down to, what's that?
I said it was an adventure.
It was an adventure, all right. So we went down to investigate this church and cemetery. When we got into Southern Illinois, and I still can't pronounce this place right, either one of them. But I think it's pronounced Golanda Cemetery. We checked that out to start out with when we got to Southern Illinois. Yeah, how do you say it? Golconda. I have no clue. Yeah, I can't pronounce words like that. But yeah, we go down there to this Golconda, and the cemetery is really cool. We found some cool stuff regarding the Civil War that had taken place in that cemetery, where some people were buried there. So that was pretty neat. So we investigated the cemetery, didn't find a lot. We reviewed our EVP sessions, didn't really get anything from our EVP sessions. But then that night, we went to the Azotus, or Azotus, I believe is how it's pronounced, Southern Missionary Baptist Church down there. And we had permission from the owner and the owner's granddaughter, I believe she was. Now this is where it starts to go haywire. Clear is saying Galconda. See, I was pronouncing it Galconda on the live, and everybody said it was wrong. Now they're saying Golconda. I don't know. And everybody disagrees on how to pronounce this place. It's either Golconda, Galconda, somewhere down in that area. We were investigating an old church. Yeah. And to start out with, they got permission for us to get in there from this granddaughter, got us permission that Tammy Jo knows. And the people showed up drunk and high, and that seems to be a bad problem we have. And I've told them a lot of live shows before, if that ever happens again, we're leaving. But we drove almost 3 hours down there. I'm at least going to try to investigate this church, whether we go live or not, and get rid of these drunks and druggies that showed up with these people. But it wasn't Tammy Jo's fault at all, guys. Tammy Jo was cool, and she tried to help us get rid of these people because she hadn't seen these people in years. They were friends of hers. But these people that got us permission to get in the church show up, and they are just flat high on drugs or something. I don't even know what they were on, but they were running around and acting stupid. So that's why we couldn't get our live feed going until late that night. We said we were going to go live earlier than what we did, but we ended up not being able to because of these drunks and druggies. But that's the way it goes. We drove 3 hours, so we made the best of it and went and found some other places too. But we didn't really find anything at the church, the Azotus Baptist Church. We investigated. We did get probably a pretty good EVP, but people were talking, and it almost sounded like something talking over me at one point. So I think there may be something there, but we didn't really document any paranormal activity taking place there at the church. So it wasn't a place we'll probably want to jump back into for a while anyway. But yeah, unfortunately, we have a policy. If the owners of a place or anybody shows up drunk or high, we leave. We don't deal with that. And unfortunately, like I say, we drove 3 hours to investigate this place, and that was the case with this location. It happened to us. The reason why we changed that policy, we investigated the Elks Lodge. I don't know if you guys remember that in Lawrence County. Lawrenceville Elks Lodge, we investigated, and we show up to that location, and just everybody's drunk. The lady that let us in is drunk. The workers are drunk. Everybody's freaking drunk, and they want us to do a serious paranormal investigation of this place. It's we can't investigate, a location with a bunch of drunk people running around. Then it's in my policy, nobody is to be drinking, you know, prior to investigation, before investigations. I highly screen my team members, everything. We don't do that stuff. So it's like when we get to a location where people have asked us to come to, the clients show up drunk and or high or whatever, you know, it kind of sucks for us because we drive a long way for these investigations. And sometimes we can't do them just because people turn it into what they want to, I guess, some type of party. I don't understand it really. But we have it in our policy, you know, if that happens again, we were going to get out of there. And we were just so far away, we didn't really have any other place to investigate down that area. So we got rid of half of them. Tammy Jo was a really big help with that. We got rid of part of the drunk crowd, and we ended up with like 2 staying. One of them being the granddaughter of the owner, which got us in there. And her and her friend, and like I say, unfortunately, they were drunk and high too outside. So Tammy had to go outside and kind of keep them at bay so we could just do EVP sessions inside the church. But next time, I probably won't even go live. But I thought, man, we drove so far. I wanted to show you guys this church because it was a really cool church and cemetery. So we went ahead and went live. You know, it wasn't the best investigation ever because of all the people, and we didn't have enough, you know, I guess, of us to, you know, kind of keep them calm outside. But when me and Jareth went outside of the church, I walk outside and some people were asking. This is the funny thing too, because this lady said that we were talking about cutting stuff out of the live feed, and said that like we cut stuff out of the live feed that we filmed that night. Well, for one, guys, when we go live, you see what you get. We cannot cut anything out. I mean, nothing's edited. You can't edit anything on the live feed. If you can, please let me know because I don't know how to do it. You know, we add music into our intro and stuff like that. We play, you know, we'll play our music and our intro and stuff like that. But as far as like cutting out what happens or adding stuff into those videos, that's why we don't do YouTube videos and put YouTube videos up and we go Facebook Live all the time. Because we don't want anybody to say, oh, you guys added something in, or oh, you guys put this in your videos. So that's why we don't do YouTube. Yeah, because a lot of people will post YouTube videos up after the investigation and they edit them. You know, we're straight out. What you see on live is what you get. And you see all our bloopers, you see all our falls. Like Courtney the other night, she fell flat again. Courtney falls flat every investigation. So, I mean, I think some people just tune in for that. but yeah, you know, we can't add anything to our live investigations, you know, and we don't edit them, anything like that. Well, this lady claimed we edited the live feed just because we didn't want her in it because she was drunk. She claimed we added something or edited something into our live feed. Like, I got news for this lady, you can't do that on live. So that's why we go live. You know, we do the live so you guys see the original content and what's actually happening. We can't fake anything. Nobody, and you know, we try to be as honest with our investigations as possible and show you guys proof if there's proof of any type of paranormal activity occurring. And I say poor Courtney. I know, guys, she falls every time. It's bad. I wanted to get her one of those helmets with the spikes on it from like Walmart, like the back in the bike section, they've got those purple helmets with like the funny looking spikes and stuff on them. I was wanting to get her like one of those helmets, but she won't wear it. But Jim's telling me to be nice to Courtney. Anyway, that's what happened down in Southern Illinois. I don't know how else to explain it other than that, but we did after we left that location. We went and camped, and then we spent the next day hiking and looking for other locations down in Southern Illinois to investigate. And we came across an old church and a couple other places that we're going to try to obtain permission to go to and go back to. So that's going to be pretty cool going down there. But I also want to talk about, you know, our recent investigations here this past weekend. I mean, what was your opinion, though, Jareth? You were down there. What did you think of that whole circus? The Shawnee circuit.
Well, it was a pretty interesting night. Like you said, the church was pretty cool and the cemetery was pretty cool. And there was like a lot of old, like abandoned houses down there that were like halfway falling in, so you couldn't really go in and look at them. But Yeah, no, it was just a mess with all the drunk people because they would yell and scream and like point flashlights inside of the building, so you couldn't tell what was like really going on, if it was them or something else.
Yeah.
But no, it was a few odd noises, and like you said in the voice recording where something talked over you, that was interesting. I couldn't really explain that one, but other than that,
Yeah,
I mean, it all comes down to, were they doing it or was it something else?
Right. Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out. You know, we were hearing noises that could have been paranormal. The place could have had potential paranormal activity, but we didn't find any due to the people. But yeah, and then this past weekend, as you guys seen, Saturday night, you know, we went out to some places and filmed and recorded. We went to the place called Dutch Lane Bridge, and it was really cool. I originally got told about the Dutch Lane Bridge by Aaron that owns the Effing Brewery at Effingham, Illinois. So we investigated his business there, his brewery, the Effing Brewery. I don't know if you guys watched that paranormal investigation, but really cool guy. Let us come in and investigate 2 times, and we're still planning some future events there. He's a busy guy, and we are too, and hopefully we'll get back there soon. But while we were talking with him, we were on one of his talk shows too. He has a little talk show, and he told us about different haunted places in the Effingham County area, or places where they had heard, you know, rumors of activity and different things going on. So we went and checked out one of the locations he told us about, and that was Dutch Lane Bridge. You know, the backstory I've got behind it, you know, there's not much history that I can find online about it. You know, and this is what he was telling me. I don't know if he researched it historically, you know, at the library or what, but supposedly a farmer in Germany brought this bridge over from Germany. It was deconstructed, brought over here, and reconstructed here in the United States and down by Effingham County, Illinois. It's close to Watson, actually, is where it's close to. And pretty cool. It's down a road called Dutch Lane, and it's Dutch Lane Bridge. So it was a crazy, crazy trip back. You all right over there? You okay?
Yeah, no, I'm okay.
I thought you choked on something.
I didn't go to that. I actually like kind of watched. I said I didn't go to that one. I actually kind of watched because I was at work, and I mean, it looked pretty cool. I didn't really pay attention long enough to see if anything actually happened. So, what all did you guys get?
Yeah. Not sure who's commenting as us on there, but I don't know what they're talking about. Friday night was a night of full moons, a little off the record investigating. What? That's not me commenting, guys. This is Crawford County Ghost Centers. I don't know what they're talking about. We have that. Some of our administrators get on there and talk, and we don't know what they're talking about half the time, but it shows up as us. Not sure what they're saying. But yeah, it was a pretty neat location getting back to the bridge. I mean, this lane going back there, it was basically like a side-by-side ATV four-wheeler trail. I mean, it had been a road at one time, obviously, because the bridge went through, but like it's pretty much turned into like an ATV trail. And I had a heck of a time getting my Jeep through there. I didn't know if we were going to make it back there. And I didn't know if we were going to make it out. You guys didn't see me try to get out part. But I filmed us going halfway back, and then we had to hike the rest of the way in because there was this log across the road, and I couldn't go any farther. Ended up, I had to go over that thing to get out because I had to turn around somewhere. So it was a heck of an adventure getting back to this place. But yeah, if you guys are just tuning in, again, we're talking about Dutch Lane Bridge we investigated Saturday night. I mean, just neat place, neat bridge, just cool atmosphere back there, because you get back there and you're pretty secluded once you're back there. You can hear the highway off in the distance, which I don't like, you know, for EVP sessions, but really, really cool bridge. If you guys ever get in that area, definitely check it out. It's kind of remote and it's hard to find, but it's back Dutch Lane near the Watson area. Set up everything. Now, the weird thing that happened there was, I'm reading comments, sorry. Tammy Joe was there in an ATV accident at the Dutch Lane Bridge. Yeah, what were you guys? Some of you guys were commenting that night saying possibly an ATV accident took place there. Was somebody hurt or killed there? If you guys know anything about that, post it up in the feed here. Please don't give any names. If you got names, send it to us privately. If you do know about something like that, but if something like that took place, let us know on the comments. But the weird thing, we didn't hear a lot of paranormal stuff or what we thought was paranormal as far as ghosts. But I am not joking, man. We heard like what sounded like whoops back there, like you see on Bigfoot stuff. And we went in to hunt ghosts, and I think we encountered some type of weird cryptid creature because like we were hearing whoops in the woods. It wasn't an owl. I mean, I live in the woods. I camp. I hunt, fish, do survival stuff. I mean, this was not an owl. This was like a whoop, like whoop. I mean, it was like a weird whooping sound coming from off to our left of the bridge, and it freaked Courtney Bowen out, freaked a couple other people out, like my team members, and it was weird sounding. I'm telling you. So I don't know what that was. If there's been any sightings of any strange creatures or Bigfoot in that area. Jen says it's my Bigfoot. Jeff said there've been several accidents in that area, huh? Do you know, Jeff, do you know of any deaths or anything that have taken place near the bridge that might, contribute to it being haunted? We need to know some more history of the area. We were just going in based off of what, the owner of the brewery told us that it was haunted. Oh, another thing he told us about the bridge is that it was often used for cult and satanic-like rituals back in the day. Some of the people, there used to be like a clan of witches in the Effingham area, like almost like a witch type clan, I guess you would call it, that would go back there and practice. So I guess witchcraft, Satanists, all kinds of things like that have happened back there, according to him too, and some of the history and historical research I think they done. Heard a scream, they said. Yeah, we heard some strange things. I just, like I say, I don't think it was ghosts or anything we were hearing back there, and what the whoops were, who knows? I mean, it sounded like a Bigfoot, but it could have been Jareth. I don't know. He may have like snuck in on us. You weren't back there, were you?
Oh yeah. Oh, I might have been. I don't know.
You might have
Sleepwalking
been.
or something.
Yeah, I know. Laura says on there possible Bigfoot.
So
County
I kind of
Dickerson. What's that?
So I kind of like was gonna ask you, what was that ghost box session about?
Oh, the next one we're gonna talk about. Yeah, I'm gonna get to that.
Yeah, that one was pretty interesting.
That was messed up. So yeah, that's what I'm getting to, guys. We leave the bridge and we go to Casbar, which is also known as Ramsey Cemetery in Effingham County. It's highly, a lot of reports of paranormal activity there. It's a pretty reputable place for people encountering, paranormal occurrences, like anything from ghosts to there's supposedly a werewolf out there, which I don't believe in.
What?
I don't. Hold on. Somebody's like zelling me. I've got to turn my phone off. So anyway, there's like, I didn't know what the heck that was, but hold on a second. I gotta block this person. But anyway, getting stuff coming across my other phone. The Ramsey Cemetery, there's been reports of everything from a werewolf there, which we don't believe in. I'm open to the possibility of anything, but a figure with like wearing a black cape with red glowing eyes has been seen there. There's supposedly a cave, but the cave is more like a rock shelter. I mean, I've never found a cave in the Ramsey or Casbar Cemetery area that you can go into. The cave I found is more like an overhang, like a rock overhang, and it's down the creek, by there, which we found one day. But the cemeteries where most of the activity supposedly takes place there at Casbar and Ramsey. We've done several investigations there. There used to be a morning chapel on the grounds where a guy committed suicide. and they've tore the morning chapel down since then. There was a tree where supposedly somebody hung themselves from outside of the cemetery. So I mean, a lot of reports of stuff in the area, but we were investigating that cemetery, and we weren't going to go live. We were just stopping there because we just left Dutch Lane. We were in the area. We wanted to hit it, while we were there to see if anything happened. And we started going live on the Solomon app. Now that's what we were using, guys, was our Solomon ITC communication app. And a lot of times with ITC, it's instrumental transcommunication. What's going on is it's a way to communicate and make contact with the dead through any electronic means. I mean, that's pretty much what instrumental transcommunication is. You're trying to make contact with the other side through any type of electronic device. It could be anything from TVs, white noise, to your static on your radio. People coming through and having direct radio voices. DRVs on your just your radio even. That's ITC. So anything that ghost or spirit can manipulate, we try to use and experiment with. We've used everything from the Phasma box to ghost boxes to white noise itself to TV backgrounds. And we've been using the Solomon app a lot because it comes with a frequency generator. And what's going on is one of those frequencies actually generates fear into the human mind. I mean, it's one of them is the ghost frequency. There's 3 different frequencies it emits. And we, through experimental usage of this thing, figured out that these frequencies seem to open up communication to the other side when we're using it. And that's why we've been experimenting a lot with this thing. It'll also generate white noise, pink noise, different noises like that, as well as the frequencies on top of that. What it does is it scans internet-based radio stations also. So when you hear the voices coming through, just like a ghost box that we use, scanning AM, FM radio frequencies through the air, only this is getting IP, internet radio stations. We're scanning through, picking this stuff up. And we had the craziest stuff come through. We start out by opening up the frequency generator and playing and blasting these frequencies across the cemetery. My theory behind it is that these ghosts and spirits, they either don't like that because it's so loud and irritating, or it's hitting on a certain frequency where it's actually opening up communication to the other side. I don't know yet, but they did something right with this Solomon app. I'm telling you, there's something about it. We've used it on several different occasions, and it seems to work the best when we do it at 3 a.m. Like if we use it at 3 a.m. in the morning. Yeah, Jeff, I have tried that. I've never had any luck with that app, but yeah, I have tried that. He's asked me if I tried the app there. The Solomon one really generates these frequencies. You start hearing stuff like it's almost like it opens up almost like a doorway in the cemetery, because at 3 a.m. is when we generally use it. And if we don't use it at 3 a.m., we don't have as good results. I don't know what it is about that. But we just right off the bat, Ramsey Cemetery, we just started getting intelligent communication coming across this thing. If you guys go back and watch, you missed the first probably 20 minutes of us communicating with them. That we didn't go live for. And then I'm like, we've got to go live because we're getting such crazy stuff. It told me, it was specifically talking to me a lot of times, and it was telling me I was initiated and the initiate. It told me some other stuff, like just crazy, crazy stuff. When we started going live, we finally recorded it. It said, "Who's your leader?" And it also said, like, it started saying like weird stuff like Dr. McCormick. It started repeating 555 over and over again, like 555, 555, 555. It kept saying that. We looked that up, and that's associated with angelic stuff sometimes, like angels and stuff that watch over you. It's kind of a sacred number. But the really weird thing is, I mean, plain as day, and you guys can go back, I think it's 3 minutes and 30 seconds into our live video, the voice just plain as day goes, "Oh my gosh, it's Jason." I mean, just plain as day, and that's intelligent communication there. Because I started out by telling him my name. I said, "Hey, it's Jason Snyder. I'm here to communicate with you guys." And just plain as day, 3 minutes, 30 seconds. "Oh my gosh, it's Jason." And just plain, I mean, I let other people.
It's always you.
Yeah. I let other people listen to it, they're like, oh yeah, I mean, there's no doubt that's what it's saying. I mean, it's the clearest response like ever. And you can go listen to that, guys, on our Ramsey cemetery video. No, this wasn't on the bridge. Shander is asking if it's on the bridge. No, we're talking about Ramsey Cemetery where this took place, Casbar Cemetery in Effingham County. But yeah, it goes, oh my gosh, it's Jason. We got several other replies and intelligent responses after that. And had a couple, one of the girls is one of my new team members, and she was freaked out. You kind of hear her yelling a little bit. We're generally quiet during ITC sessions, but I'm telling you what, that one gave me chills. I mean, it just, I don't know, something about it just gave me chills when it happened. I mean, just how clear it was and the stuff that was coming through at like 3 a.m. in the morning. But yeah, if you guys didn't see that, definitely go back. And if you don't watch any other part of the video, watch 3 minutes and 30 seconds into our Ramsey Cemetery investigation we did last Saturday night, because it's cool. And if you guys don't think that's what it's saying, private message us and let us know, or tell us what you think it's saying. But I mean, I don't know what else it could be saying. I've let people that don't even go with us listen to it and say, hey, what do you hear? And they said, it says, oh my gosh, it's Jason. So, I mean, just weird. And while I'm talking about that, like the ITC research, ghost boxes, communication with the other side, like sometimes you have to establish a connection with the other side. You know, that's how a lot of this ITC work and ITC communicators work, like myself. You know, they know you. You've got to establish, you know, that connection with these ghosts and spirits, kind of like we did at Pine Lawn. You know, nothing happened on our first couple investigations at Pine Lawn. And once we started talking to these people, we started getting marbles and pennies thrown at us. You know, same way with ITC research and communication. You've got to establish a connection with the people and almost with the other side sometimes. And I think that's what makes some researchers get good messages and some, you know, don't. It's the way they approach it. But I think they know you, and you know, it's like the other side recognizes us. They know who's trying to contact them. They know who's trying to communicate with them. By you establishing, you know, who you are and what you're there to do and why you're there to do it, just makes that established connection stronger. So, you know, we've been doing a lot of research into, you know, that type of stuff over the years. You know, ITC, EVP, you know, electronic voice phenomena, all that stuff. You know, that's been my main focus over the years, because I can, you know, we can still explain 98% of photographs that come to our emails or our messages, you know, as being natural, you know, dust particles, bugs, you know, seldomly ever do you get a paranormal anomaly on film or video. I mean, it just doesn't happen. And most of the stuff people report or put on all these ghost pages and ghosts and haunting pages are just, you know, anomalies that can be explained, you know, natural anomalies that can be explained. Speaking of something coming across my radio. Yeah, we can. I got bored with the photography. People would send me pictures. It's like, yeah, it's dust particles, it's rain, or it's snow, or it's suspended, you know, particles in the atmosphere. And a lot of your collared orbs are caused by what that particle is actually made up of, whether it's dust, pollen, rain, snow. Even the lenses on your camera have a magnesium fluoride coating on some of them, which make, you know, orbs appear purple colored sometimes. So, like, there's a lot of photography stuff people don't know about, and they just label stuff paranormal all the time. It's like, that's why we dove into the ITC and EVP side of paranormal research so hard, because it's harder to explain a voice that comes out of thin air and it's intelligently responding to you. And it's not radio waves. It's not radio, or at least it's not someone just communicating, you know, over radio, because like, it just doesn't work that way. It's like we've used Faraday cages to try to block out FM signals, to try to block out AM, FM radio signals, you know, over our recorders. We've done all types of experiments, and you still get EVP, you still get ITC communication through different devices. So where this stuff is coming from, I don't know. But I almost think after doing this for so long that like I said, they know who we are, you know, and that's why they say, oh my gosh, it's Jason. You know, they knew it was me trying to communicate with them out there. And like, I don't know if it was from the first couple investigations we've done there, or the thing about ITC and ghost box stuff, or any type of electronic voice phenomena or anything like that, they could be coming from anywhere. That's the thing a lot of researchers don't understand too. Just because you get an EVP or some type of intelligent ITC communication in a particular area doesn't mean that area is haunted. You know, you could be opening up a telephone line to somewhere else. I mean, you could be talking to somebody over in like England or Africa or Japan. And we've got EVPs and voices come across in different languages before. So, you know, that's the cool thing about all this. You know, where are they coming from? You know, you can study this for a lifetime, try to figure out what's going on. But try to read some of the comments here. Jeff said there's always a strange feeling.
That's something I was gonna.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's something I was gonna say too, because like when you use Ghostbox sometimes, like you can't always put like your trust into some of the things that come through that, because it's like so many frequencies you can't really tell whether it's supernatural or not. But like
Exactly.
with what happened to you guys, that's not explainable. Like you can't explain that. There's no
Right.
way. But yeah, but no, like I don't like the Solomon does it too. Like it'll go through different frequencies and it will say something that sounds like you have a supernatural, like something supernatural interact with you, but it's not actually that. It's just like a radio station that said something that goes with your question that you asked, because it's skipping
Sure.
through so many things.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that
So,
up. It's
huh?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's kind of why I like. Yeah, that's why I like the white noise idea better, because the white noise doesn't have anything instead of just that
Right.
noise. So if something comes across there, you would know, like, hey, there's something actually there, because you know there's no radio stations on that.
Sure.
Where, as in the other one, you can't really tell whether it's, unless it's like an intelligent response to something like that you asked.
Right. Yeah, that's a very valid point. You know, a lot of these people, when they get the ghost box, you know, they start hearing this stuff, and like you've got to separate the bull from the from the good stuff. You know, it takes a while to do that, because like you said, you're picking up AM/FM digital radio or AM/FM stations, you know, on a digital radio that's scanning through multiple frequencies really quick. And there is what the same thing as, you know, basically photographs, you know, pareidolia. It's audio pareidolia, basically. You know, you want to hear something so badly you think that's what it's saying. That's why a lot of times, you know, when we get an EVP or we get a any type of intelligent response through an ITC session, I'll let somebody listen to it and not tell them what it's saying. You know, it's like, what do you think this is saying? And let them listen to it, because yeah, if I say the sky is blue, you know, they're going to say, oh, I hear that too. You know, it's the power of like, I guess, just you saying it. Even, you know, it's you putting that thought into their mind. So you've got to be extremely careful interpreting any intelligent responses on ghost boxes, you know, recording sessions, anything to your group or to other people, because everybody will hear the same thing. It's audio pareidolia, and definitely, yeah, you got to be careful. Still reading comments. Sorry. Yeah, that's a good point to bring up, Gareth. And what you're talking about static coming over a radio. You can even tune a radio to a channel that has nothing, and that's called, you know, direct radio voices. And that's like the best of the best when it comes to communication, like he's saying, because you're getting a direct radio voice over a channel or static on a TV or white noise that's not supposed to have, you know, that doesn't have anything coming through. And when that happens, then you've got something really strange, you know. And that's how the original EVP researchers started doing it. You know, there's a lot of famous people that experimented with that over the years. From Sarah Estep, you know, she was the founder of the American Association for Electronic Voice Phenomena. And she's the one too. And I was talking with her. I mean, I've actually talked with Sarah over the phone. She's the one they made the movie White Noise after. They based a lot of the White Noise movie upon her research. And she was the one telling me too, and that's why I tried it at the Whispers Estate, that the ghosts and spirits kept telling her to use mirrors in conjunction with like recording. she said to set the mirrors up by the recorder, and that the mirrors will actually help record EVP or electronic voice phenomena. So I thought, man, when I got to the Whispers Estate and they had a room full of mirrors, I was like, well, here's my chance to try that experiment, and didn't get anything. But who's to say it doesn't work? But reading the comments, you can go ahead and talk, Jay. I might read through some of these comments and answer them if you got anything else to say real quick.
See, there's many things with that, like mirrors and stuff, or supposedly ghosts can bring in ghosts and stuff into your house. It's like the same as the EVP you're talking about with the mirrors, that if you have two mirrors facing each other for the longest time, it makes like a bunch of energy happen as well. I've never really, experienced anything like that, but who's to say it's not real?
Right. Okay, yeah, Chandra's saying, I think.
And kind of going back to the.
Oh, go ahead. I think we got a little lag.
Yeah. No, kind of going back to the ghost box session. It's kind of like an EM pump, I guess you would say, because I've talked about it a bunch of times, where the EM pump would emit kind of like a high frequency to make you like hallucinate. It's kind of like the same thing as in so many people believe in this, and they believe in it strong enough to where something can actually happen. And it'd be real because everybody thinks it's real. That's kind of like, I don't know your point of view on it, but it's kind of like an Ouija board. In my opinion, it's only real because like so many people believe in it. Like you have a bunch of people at once playing a Ouija board, and of course, if you believe in something hard enough, it's going to actually happen. But if you play by it yourself and nothing happens, it's only you thinking that, so nothing's really going to happen. But you have all these people around this item, and they all believe in the same thing, like, oh, it's going to move, oh, it's going to move, oh, it's going to move. It's obviously going to move because you all are emitting like a high brainwave of it actually, doing something that you want it to do. So it happens.
Yeah, like say, I'm a big believer in the Ouija board is definitely subconscious mind moving the board, and you don't realize that it's not being done by a ghost or spirit. I mean, now, whether or not a ghost or spirit world can influence our subconscious mind to spell something out, that's a different story. But an actual ghost or spirit pushing that, it's not happening. It's us pushing it.
Yeah,
it's just whether or not. Yeah, it's us pushing it subconsciously. If you're doing a Ouija board experiment, or you play with a Ouija board, that is pushed by human hands. It's not a ghost doing that. But yeah, the only thing about the Ouija board, that I think could be paranormal, like I say, is could it be manipulated, or could we be influenced and picking up some type of, almost like a radio wave, like, they put out for EVPs, are we picking something up where they're influencing us subconsciously to push it to a particular letter? Could they, put some type of implant in our mind to push it to A and B, whatever it may be. But yeah, definitely subconscious mind, you're pushing that thing. Ouija boards are definitely, they're not evil either. I collect Ouija boards like from all over. I got old Ouija boards. I got Ouija boards from investigations that we've investigated. People have problems with Ouija boards. They're not evil. That's a big misconception that Hollywood put out there with, everything from like The Exorcism, all the movies that had Ouija boards in them, different places and stuff. They make Ouija board movies. It's just like, it's Hollywood, making these things evil. It's a piece of like cardboard with plastic. Trying to read the comments.
Yeah. No, it's all basically based on the human mind, because the human mind supposedly is a lot powerful than what people expect. And if you think it's something so much, then it actually tends to happen, is my point. So you got to be careful with that sometimes. When something you think is actually paranormal when it's not, is just you thinking that it is.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's why like a lot of these groups don't debunk anything anymore. And it makes me mad because, we're trying to debunk this stuff. It's like a lot of these groups are like, just everything's a ghost. It's like their trophy. They want to they have to record paranormal activity everywhere they go. Like, I'm not gonna mention any names, but like, he thinks he's like this one investigator that comes to mind. Just thinks everywhere he goes, he has to record paranormal activity, and document it and file it away. It's like you barely get. It's hard to get legitimate paranormal activity, and when you do, that's why it's so exciting because. When you get a marble thrown at you or a quarter thrown at you out of nowhere, and it came out of a freaking wall, that's legitimate stuff. But it's like some of the stuff people get
Yeah.
on ghost boxes, like you were saying, the ghost box stuff's really bad because like everything's ghost. And it's like I had a couple of my new team members with me on that last ghost box session. It's like the next one needs to be a lot more quieter, because everybody needs to be quiet. Somebody needs to be documenting with a paper and pen and actually writing down what they think they hear or two people, and then bringing up the time later on and it not be said at all during the live feed. And then the viewers can decide and the people watching can decide what they think it's saying. And then we can write it down and this is what we think it said. Like Shander's saying, people can hear that on live feed, get a different interpretation as what we're getting. So I mean, yeah, it's audio pareidolia.
Yeah. So like that's kind of like why I think that phone apps are not that great of like things to use because you could be manipulated with those into thinking something's real that's not. That's why like some of your best tools, like in my personal opinion, whenever you do ghost hunts, is like your mind and like you said, a pen or pencil, and then a voice recorder because some of the things you just can't fake off a voice recorder. Like that's not
Right.
really possible unless you
Yeah.
take the time, put it in a computer, and then waste all of your time messing with it. So, but what would be the point in that? So, like, and some of the best tools in ghost hunting is your mind and all that because what you see is what happened.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You can't
I
really
know.
explain it
It
any
really is. It's like,
if you've seen that person.
yeah. I mean, yeah. Your mind is your best tool. It's like bad thing about what you see is what happened is my theory is if I can't record it and document it, it didn't happen because I can tell people I've seen something all day, but if I have no documentation, no video proof, no audio proof, no evidence, then there's no point in me even saying it
Yeah.
happened because like if I don't have that recorded, then it didn't happen, and that's just the way the world works because it's like I can, we can go out there. We know Pylon was real. We've seen marbles thrown at us. We've seen coins thrown at us. But I'm sure there's hundreds of people out there that's like, oh, that never happened. It's like they didn't see it. We recorded a lot of it on live,
Yeah.
video. Those, we recorded dice flying out of nowhere. We recorded marbles out of nowhere on live feed. So we got documentation through live feed on that. But like, there was so much stuff that we weren't going live that happened there. It's like it's just our word, and that's the bad thing. It's like a lot of the stuff that happens is when you're not rolling the cameras or not rolling, audio equipment. But yeah, the definitely I agree on the EVP stuff though. It's like and the phone apps, yeah, they're horrible. I've found very few apps I'll use. The Solomon app, the only reason we started using it is because of the frequency generators and the white noise, and that actually has science behind it. Frequencies are crazy. You can do a lot of stuff from frequencies, and they've studied frequencies since a long time. Regarding healing frequencies, frequencies that basically infrasound can create illusions and the like fear, create fear into people. So I mean, frequencies can be used as a weapon. Even the military uses like frequency generators and stuff
Yeah.
to strike fear in the enemies, or you can even bust eardrums. I mean, you can do a lot of stuff with frequencies. So that's why we got into the Solomon app, just because of that. The generators, even the white noise, pink noise, in combination with the IP radio stations that it'll generate. Stuff like Ghost Radar and all these stupid apps. Like most of your Ghostbox apps are fake. You got to be extremely careful because they can program anything into these things. That's why I don't like the Obelisk. A lot of people use that frequently and religiously, but it's programmed to spit these words out. Just like Paratech. I see a lot of weird stuff on Paratech app. That's legitimate and goes along with what we're doing, but it's still programmed to spit these words out. by a human. Whether the ghost and spirit can intelligently interact with that, manipulate that word bank and spit it out, that's what we're hoping is happening. We're hoping they're manipulating these electronic devices and actually picking the words in the banks and generating them onto the screen. But that's how the process is supposed to work. But again, you still have human programming there. So it's like, is it real? Is it not real? Just like the Phasma box, I'm still on the fence about the
Yeah.
Phasma box. Intelligent stuff coming across it, but I don't know. It could be that programmer programming something to happen every
Yeah.
60 days that doesn't normally come out of it. Who knows? Says, I was reading one of the comments. I was like 5 years old, and it was my mom's family. They had the funeral in the home. All the mirrors were covered up. I always wondered why. Huh. They're talking about mirrors still in the chat.
See, like we were saying, like, apparently that mirrors are supposed to hold, like, whenever somebody passes away, if a mirror's in the room, the mirror is supposed to hold that energy from that person that passed away. Is like what has been thought, or what has been talked about, is like that energy goes into the mirror, because it's kind of like the same thing as if two mirrors were facing together. The mirrors are reflecting back and forth to each other. It makes that tunnel that you're seeing, and that tunnel is supposed to like it's supposed to like lead around so much that it creates this force of energy that lets off into your house. It's supposed to have all these negative and things like that happen, but I've never seen anything like that happen. You do kind of get weird feelings whenever like these two mirrors are like facing each other for such a long period of time, because like, for instance, at my grandparents' house, there's these two mirrors that face each other, and they've been facing each other for 15 years or so. You walk into that house, you get the strangest feeling, and you just can't explain it. But like, no, I've never experienced like people standing in the hallway or people walking around because of these mirrors facing each other and letting all these spirits and stuff out. I don't believe that. It's just like an energy thing, not an actual spirit thing.
Right. Yeah.
But it kind of but I kind of got off topic here into the mirror thing, because I'm really big on the mirror thing too. But I was actually going to go back talking about like you said, like the ghost apps, like the ghost finders. I don't believe in that. Like I really only look for like things that create like electromagnetic fields or high frequency things, as in like the Solomon app. Like I believe Solomon app works because we've experienced things where we've used that and stuff weird has happened, like the speaker lifting off of the gravestone, moving by itself. That's not explainable. But there'll be times that there'll be times where I will actually grab a speaker and I will download an app that lets out like really high frequencies of like low pitch and high pitch sounds to see if that makes them reenact with you. Because that stuff like that tends to happen more if you do things like that, because they can use that to either manifest or do things that you ask them to do. Because I'm not too intelligent with the whole electromagnetic field stuff, but it gives them this frequency to where they can use to reenact.
Oh yeah.
So like the EM pump, like I'm so big on the speakers. Huh. Oh yeah. I'm so big on the EM pumps is because it lets out this such high electromagnetic field that it allows you to hallucinate. And if it has that much like electromagnetic in it to allow you to hallucinate, what says they're not using that to manifest or do this? For instance, like the place in Lawrenceville that we went to, the Masonic Lodge, like we turned on that EM pump and not 5 minutes later, the woman in the building yelled, "Hey," down the hallway, and there was no woman in the building. Like that's things like that you just can't explain because they use stuff like that to their advantage.
Or were we hallucinating?
Well, what?
Or were we hallucinating?
That's kind of weird though, because everybody in the building, the building heard it, and everybody on the live feed heard it. So like, there's things like that you can't explain. Yes, it lets out this electromagnetic field that allows you to hallucinate, but when other people around are hearing it, and plus you are hearing it, then you know it's something that's actually there and you're not seeing.
Yeah, definitely.
That was
Going back,
a
what's that?
long rant, but
Well, yeah. I mean, in the electromagnetic
that was a
fields, I mean, I
long
do.
rant, but you know.
I think the fields do give them some type of energy because, like I say, I've got that big cell phone radio tower theory. Every time there's a cell phone or a radio tower close to where we're investigating, it is crazy. I mean, Williamsburg Hills like that. There's a big tower close to Bachelor's Grove up by Chicago. Anywhere where you have a large amount or a lot of people witnessing paranormal activity, sometimes there is a radio tower or cell phone tower close by. And I do think the emitted radiation, electromagnetic fields, and everything coming off those, could definitely increase paranormal activity in the area if they do feed off of that type of stuff. And like you say, even if it's not paranormal activity, it can cause them some type of hallucinations. With the human brain, I mean, it can cause a lot of stuff. And they're starting to switch everything to 5G too. We're going to see like is paranormal activity going to increase once 5G gets, popular everywhere? And they got a 5G tower in their backyard, like the possession case we had in Robinson. So I don't know. The tales. Chandra's asking if I've heard of that. Is that where they emit a certain frequency, Chandra, and they cause stuff to happen? I'm not sure. I've heard of it. I just can't remember what it does. She's asking me in the chat. Going back to mirrors, though, I know we got off topic, started talking about mirrors. That in photography, gosh, that's one of my pet peeves. Like when somebody takes a picture in a mirror and says it's paranormal, or somebody takes a picture in a window and says it's paranormal. It is not. I mean, you have a lot of reflections when it comes to photography, when you come to reflective surfaces, mirrors, windows, even reflective tombstones, car windows. I've seen crazy photographs from windshields of boats, even different stuff. But if you take a photograph into a reflective surface, I cannot consider it to be paranormal, and I won't consider it to be paranormal because there's too many flash reflections. There's too much pareidolia and matrixing that can take place with mirrors and glass and reflective surfaces. We completely rule out any photograph that's been taken into a reflective surface. I only had one photograph I seen where I questioned that I took in an old house. It was what was that called? It was an old hotel in Palestine. I can't remember the name of it. The Palace Hotel in Palestine. We investigated that. It was actually on a document. We have filmed a documentary for a station when we were doing it called Seekers of the Unknown. And we were recording in there, and I got a photograph in the mirror down the hallway, and it looked like an old lady. I mean, flat out looked like an old lady. I was like, man, that's the best mirror shot I've ever seen. So like we went and we looked and looked. I tried to duplicate it and couldn't. Went and looked at the mirror, and finally, like I figured out there was just a little smudge on the mirror that was creating like almost like a pareidolia matrix effect, making it look like something it wasn't. And we rule it out as being a natural explanation. But that's what I'm saying. Some things can even fool people that do this all the time. It's like you just don't want to take shots into reflective surfaces. There's that famous one with the dog and the lady. I don't know if you've ever seen that on the internet floating around, where it shows the dog and the lady behind a window. I don't know what to think about that. I would say that was probably photoshopped at some point. But most of them you can tell is just people thinking it's something it's not. I was reading the comments.
Yeah, that's a big problem you have. Yeah, that's the big problem you have in the paranormal society now. Is everybody has these high-tech phones like iPhones and Androids and all that, and they can Photoshop ghosts into photos. Like it's changed so much from how it used to be back then to how it is now. So you had things like back in like the 90s or like Ed and Lorraine's time, those type of ghost hunters where they didn't use cell phones because it was that time period where they only used tapes and recordings, and you can't really fake those. So that's more of a real thing than now because somebody could easily edit something into these videos and stuff because our technology has changed throughout the years, and you can easily add some, a girl saying "hey" into one of your voice recordings. That's why I don't really like watching TV shows about ghost hunting, is because it's TV. Like they can easily, it's Hollywood or whatever. They can easily put something into that. They've done it for years. They could easily put something into that where it's fake and you think it's real. So you get this thought in your head that all this ghost hunting is going to be like this. But like us, whenever we go out and we sit there for hours and get absolutely nothing, or
Right.
sit there and watch cameras, nothing happens. We get no EVPs because we're not faking this. We're actually doing it in real time, in real life, and seeing what happens from just using cameras and like kind of like the old equipment, not using the iPhones and the
Oh yeah.
computers and all that. We're just kind of using like old
Yeah.
technology and seeing what happens from that, and not trying to fake something.
Yeah, I know. I'm kind of lucky because like I've been doing this for like 25 years, and I got to kind of see the old school, now the new school of paranormal research. So I can kind of go on both ends of it. It's like you're saying, it's like um, old school ways are almost better than the new school ways because like technology has advanced so much that yeah, we've got better communication, maybe better ways to try to contact them ITC wise with instrumental transcommunication, using all these electronic devices and all that. But like you say, stuff can be highly manipulated now, and that's the problem. Like you say, Photoshop, audio programs, Adobe Audition, you can add stuff in. It's like it's so easy to fake stuff nowadays with our technology, and that's the problem. Like you're saying, back in the day, we couldn't do that. We had 35 millimeter film we were using. There was negatives. We had the negatives. That's why I'm a big fan of 35 millimeter because like we had the negatives. You can't really fake that too much. I mean, you can still do stuff like double exposure, and with infrared film, it had to be loaded in the dark, taken out in the dark. People would expose it to light and do weird things to try to fake infrared film too. But it was a lot harder to fake stuff back in the day than like you say, like than it is now. And people, with these phones, these photo apps and stuff, they'll, like you say, add ghosts into them, and it's ridiculous. It's like, but yeah, the old school ways were more, I guess, almost more reliable. And that's why I like to go back to the basics a lot of time. We've got all this high tech equipment, guys, but a lot of times you'll see me just carrying around an audio recorder or video, camera or digital camera that can still, the digital camera and the SD card can still be manipulated, but it saves, it's a lot better than the old fashioned days when we was carrying around rolls of 35 millimeter and had to go get them developed and all that. Even in the developing process, somebody could have spilled something on the film, caused some type of anomaly to appear on the 35 millimeter. But when you got a full body apparition on 35 millimeter and you have the negatives showing it too, that's something cool. So, but it seems like any of your 35 millimeter, your famous ghost photographs, nobody can come up with the negatives. Is the problem. I've questioned some of these famous photographs that I've seen online. I'm not going to mention any names or any photographers, but nobody can seem to show me the negative to some of these photographs that are some of the most famous ghost photos in the world. So, you got to question some of that. But
yeah, see,
hate the TV shows.
That's why everybody gets. Huh?
Oh, I'm gonna read this one real quick. She's gonna get me started on this.
So that's why. All right, go ahead.
She says, "I hate the TV shows. They're so fake. If you watch one long enough, you can catch on their formula. Each show will follow a pattern. Absolutely. TV shows on paranormal occurrences and paranormal research, like ghost hunters and ghost adventures, they are absolutely fake, guys. And they also get something every time, and they go through evidence that takes weeks to go over in like 10 minutes. I mean, you can't do that. A lot of these shows are fake and they add stuff in. I mean, I know I've been approached by them, had a contract with them for a while because I was going to actually do a show, and that went bad. I had a contract with Pilgrim Studios. I wasn't supposed to do anything else for 6 months. I was basically owned by them because I was going to be on the new Ghost Center show, and they didn't tell me that it was taps again. So, I was 3 days from flying out to California, and I didn't end up doing it because they called and told me that, it was taps and the Ghost Hunter show, and they're basically kicking up a dead horse. And I thought like it was going to be us, and they didn't mention anything about taps. They just said it's going to be a new Ghost Hunter show, and then they let the cat out of the bag 3 days before I was to fly out to California. And they asked if I would be willing to fake stuff, add stuff in. I mean, it's all the Hollywood stuff is fake, guys. I've been there. I've been approached by them. I do not recommend you watching shows on TV when it comes to ghost hunting. It is all fake. So, but yeah, go ahead, Jared. Sorry, she got me on that rant.
See, you're good. That's completely understandable. But no, it's just that's why everybody would get so mad at us, and why everybody would not want us around anymore or go to these places, because like we would not go with their story. Like, not naming any places, but I'm just saying there's some places where we've been where people actually wanted us to believe these stories, but it's hard to believe whenever you would change your story so many times in so many years. Like, you can't expect us to just lie for you and tell you that, yeah, these things happen, and tell all these people that, yeah, these things happen when they didn't. Like, we're not going to, help your business out or whatever because we're a ghost hunting team and we come in there and do this stuff and that's what we're supposed to do. No, we're not going to do that because we actually want to find real like explanations for like ghosts and all these ghosts and stuff. We want to make sure they're actually real. We're not going to fake something like TVs do and stuff like that. Like, there's yeah, it's for entertainment purposes, and yes, it's fun to watch like ghost adventures and ghost hunters and all that, because it's
Right.
entertainment. It makes you laugh because of some of the things that they do on there. But see, we're out here doing this for actual scientific evidence and actual to see if this exists, not to be playing games with them and to make stuff up just because we think it's fun.
That is exactly the truth. Well said. Because, yeah, definitely. And when Jared speaks of that, I mean, we're talking a lot of famous places here, guys. Like, they'll tell you a story, these places that charge you to go into places, or they charge people to go in, or they have these big events, these big haunted locations that are money making buildings. And their story changes, like he says. They'll tell you one thing one year, next year they'll have a different set of facts of who died there, or what happened in different years. And yeah, it's crazy the way these people make up stories. I can think of three big ones offhand, but you know, one of them, being the McPike Mansion, but I'm not going to get into that because I talk all night. But that's one I will mention because I'm still mad about that. Because when you fake stuff, you get called out for the rest of your life. I don't care. But yeah, the McPike Mansion was a big, big hoax. I mean, she just fake stuff, So I'm not going to mention the other two because I'm kind of friends with the other guy and two of the other places. So, but I may be friends with them, but I don't endorse their fakery. I don't endorse their false tellings of stories. They'll make stuff up to make their place sound better. And you're exactly right. I mean, it happens in a lot of these places. It's like that's why you got to be careful with the hype. Of like these big haunted locations that you can pay to go to. I'm sure like places like Waverly Hills. That's a big place. A lot of people died there. It's got to have some ghosts. I mean, you get a place with multiple deaths, that's what causes a haunting. And from my research over the years, that is the recipe for a haunting. The more deaths in one location, obviously the better. The more tragic events, the more horrible deaths, the more untimely deaths, suicides, people dying before their time, people dying of things they shouldn't have died from, abuse and stuff like that seems to be the most haunted locations, and you get multiple deaths upon multiple deaths in these locations, that's what generates a haunting. That's what causes a haunting. You get 50 to 100 people dying in one location, you're bound to have one or two still remaining there for some odd reason, whether they just don't realize they're dead. Maybe they committed suicide and they can't pass on for some reason, and that gets into a bunch of religious stuff. But you're bound to have one or two spirits out of 100 deaths. And And I think that's exactly why Pine Lawn was so haunted. You know, the nursing homes. Not only are nursing homes, you know, locations where a lot of deaths have taken place, I think nursing homes are probably one of the most haunted places in the world. You've got a location where multiple deaths have taken place, and that was their home, you know, when they died. You know, you don't have a hospital. You know, you go into a hospital for short stays. You don't expect to die in a hospital. Hospitals are extremely haunted. A lot of deaths take place there, but that's not a person's home. You know, when a person's put into the nursing home, that becomes their home. And you know, these people, once they pass away there, and you get hundreds and hundreds of deaths in a nursing home, you know, that's their home. They don't want to leave. So, like, I think that's why nursing homes remain
Yeah.
active and stay active for such a long period of time. I mean, because it's their home and there's multiple, you know, hundreds of deaths. Unlike a hospital, you know, it's not their house.
Yeah, believe me,
How
I
about you?
understand the nursing home.
Yeah, you're kind of working in one similar right now, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. Uh, yeah, I've been so many strange experiences so far. I've only been there for about
Yeah.
a month now.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, we got Becky on here. I didn't
Yeah,
realize
and
Becky was on here.
plus me being yeah, plus me being a you know a person that finds like supernatural things. Yeah, it tends to like draw them in more because they're interested in that. But yeah,
Right.
uh, yeah, so many experiences so far that it's kind of ridiculous whenever you start working in places like that.
Oh, yeah. But hey, Becky, I didn't realize you were on here. Nice to see you on here. Got Becky Knighty, one of my old team members on here watching tonight. Hope you're doing good, Becky. Um, I haven't seen her for a while. I need to call Becky. So I have been busy, but cool to see her on here watching tonight. Um, trying to read your comments. Ben Hansen is not Rick. I'm investigating with him. Ben Hansen. I'm not sure who that is. Linda's saying Ben Hansen does not. I think she's saying fake. I'm not sure who that is. Do you know who that is, Jareth?
Um,
Huh?
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, I've never heard
I've
of Ben
never heard of
Hansen.
that name.
Cool. Becky said she's doing better. Good deal, Becky.
That's cool.
Chandra says there's a pylon in New York that's a haunted cemetery. That's pretty interesting. So, yeah, cool. But yeah, I think
Yeah, so you've been to Pine Lawn.
my
Huh?
lights just flickered. What's that?
That's weird. I said, so you've been to Pine Lawn recently. Has anything started happening again since, last time we were there?
Um, we're starting to hear the knocks and bangs a little louder again. Like it had there for a couple weeks, it had quit completely. We didn't get anything. Like we were getting knocks, we were getting bangs, we weren't getting anything.
Yeah.
And then like we went back finally, and it was pretty cool the last two times we went. We got knocks on the doors, we got bangs, like really loud bangs. What sounded like a metal sound, like somebody beating on metal. And they always reported the telephone ringing in Pylon, and we had never heard that. We on all of our investigations there, we'd never heard the phone ring. Well, Courtney and I think Kelsey Greentree, one of my new team members, she was sitting down there. Maybe Amanda Johnson too. I can't remember if she was there or not, but they were sitting at that far group 2 hallway between group 1 and group 2, and they started hearing the phone ring. I guess it rang like 3 times. But I mean, and they thought they heard a scream right before that happened, and I didn't hear it. They all three heard it at the same time and kind of went crazy, saying, "Oh my God, the phone's ringing." I mean, I totally believe him, but like, uh, I don't know what to think about phones ringing because, like I say, I've got one of my old team members. He's into telephone stuff, and he told me that can be debunked a lot of times. Like a phone can have energy, or the lines can ring, and you know, it could be like a natural explanation for it. So that's why I didn't get real excited because he had told me when I told him about the phone ringing and people thinking it was paranormal that could be debunked really easily. I don't know. I'm not a phone guy, but he says that
Yeah.
phones ringing can be debunked. So I'm going to believe him. Well, this says it's fact or fake. I have watched that a couple times. I'm reading the comments again. They're not all fake. I agree.
Yeah.
There are a lot
See,
of
in my opinion, kind of like
well, just to comment on that real quick, she's saying they're not all fake. They kind of are in sort of a way, all TV shows, because they add stuff in. I mean, I'm not saying not, like all the stories are fake or, everything about the thing is fake, but in some way, shape, or form, if you see it on TV, they've either added in background music, they've added in sounds, they've added in actors to play the parts. I mean, so in somewhat, most of these TV shows are fake. Um, I mean, I agree. There's some good ones out there that it's like they're trying to show more of the legitimate side of it, but it's still entertainment. If you turn on your TV and it's on like a main channel, and it's not like some live thing going on, it could be faked, and it's entertainment. Starting our own group here in Iowa, wondering which investigation tool you'd recommend for us newbies. Carrie, that's a really good question. If you're just starting out paranormal research, you're just now investigating, or you don't have a lot of gear, I recommend. Yeah, your normal stuff. Like I think, like Lynn's saying, he's recommending, pencil, paper, voice recorder, flashlight, anything that can document and record. Your audio. You want record of audio recordings or anything happening in the audio world. You want photography, video. That's the things you want to start out getting. You want to start out getting things that will document and actually record evidence. Don't worry about these fancy meters and fancy like stuff and all these ghost, ghost pages. I mean, you want to start out with stuff that actually will take a picture of a ghost if you see it, or record a ghost if you see it, or record EVP through audio recordings. Digital recorders, the older digital recorders work really well. You can get those on like eBay really cheap. RCA brand is awesome when it comes to recording EVP. Of course, your old Panasonic, you can find them. But the newer recorders sometimes actually cancel out some of the stuff that you want to hear, and they're just the sample rate and stuff matters on some recorders. So I mean, you got to look at your recorders. I recommend older recorders versus the new ones actually when it comes to digital recorders. But even your cassette recorders, if you find a cassette player, make sure you get an external microphone to hook to it, because you can actually pick up the internal gears of the cassette recorder if you're using the old cassette style recorders that you can get at Walmart still. Make sure you put an external mic on it if you're doing it the old fashioned way like that, so you don't pick up those internal gears. But everybody's saying you're making them dizzy. You're moving around, moving your camera.
That's all right. It fell off my stand, so I have to hold it now. But like, no, I also found another cool thing is I've seen people do it before, is instead of going out and buying like a really expensive like temperature meter, you can go to Walmart and get you like one of those temperature things for your house, and like they kind of have the same effect as like the really expensive temperature meters that you get online. So you can go and get like a cheap like $20-$30 temperature thing for your house and use it as well.
Yeah, no problem, Carrie. Just like he said, there's stuff you can get that's cheaper, or like I said, you want to start out with stuff that can document, your camera, your audio recorder, just stuff like that, versus the crazy stuff. I mean, we've experimented. I know you said you got an SLS camera. I think I read back up there, and I'm not bashing the SLS camera or anything, but there's a lot of false anomalies captured on SLS cameras that look like your basic stick figure that aren't. You got to be extremely careful when you've got an SLS camera, and make sure you get intelligent communication with that SLS camera. If you tell the beam to wave and it waves, that's pretty cool. If you tell it to move to the left, it moves to the left. That's cool. But if you just get a figure doing random stuff, or a stick figure on an SLS camera, a lot of times it's a false anomaly created by an object nearby. And chairs can cause that, trash cans can cause that, trees can cause that, any type of object. So when you're using an SLS camera, Carrie, I'm pretty sure I read where you got one. Maybe you said you were wanting one. I don't
Do
know, I
what?
read something about it. I was reading something about SLS. I don't know if she said she had one or somebody's recommending it to her, but SLS you got to be real careful with. You got to know what you're doing. Only film in open hallways where there's no objects that can create false anomalies. And just make sure it has an intelligent response. If yeah, she said they just got one. Make sure it shows intelligent, communication back. Like I say, make it wave. If it doesn't, it's probably a false anomaly. And it's sending out that beam bouncing back off, and it's like millions of little lasers basically bouncing back off, and it's like it will register the chair as a person sometimes. It's crazy. I mean, you get a lot of false hits on SLS cameras. That's why we don't even use them hardly anymore. We did get some crazy stuff at Ash. We got a kid sitting in a chair, it looked like at the Ashmore Estates, but I don't know, it didn't do really anything intelligent. The only intelligent response I got once was in an old church. I seen two people come together, sit down. They were holding hands in a church, what it looked like. And then I asked it to move its arm. It moved its arm. I asked it to move its other arm. It moved its other arm. I mean, I've had things like that happen. I'm not saying they don't work, but you got to be extremely careful and rule out all false anomalies with SLS cameras. I'm going to read some more here. Oh, and like Jareth was talking about the temperature guns, you also got to be careful with those guys, like your non-contact infrared laser thermometers, which is like your basic thermometer that they're using on people now to see if they got COVID. They'll put those in your head, and like a lot of times those aren't accurate for actual, temperature, but people are using the mechanic versions of those, or the electrician version of a non-contact infrared laser thermometer. Sends out a beam. Now the problem with those type of devices, when it comes to paranormal research, is people don't use them right. They think that they're getting a temperature drop in a room of a paranormal anomaly, and what they're picking up is the surface temperature of whatever that infrared beam is bouncing off of. And if you got one of those laser scanners or laser thermometers, basically a handheld infrared, laser thermometer in your hand, it's sending out an infrared beam. It bounces off of mass, and registers it as a temperature. It's not picking up what's in between that device and the wall. You're not picking up a ghost between your wall and that device. It can't. It's not registering that. It's picking up the surface temperature of your wall or your floor or your ceiling. So you want stuff that gets ambient temperature changes, not like contact temperature changes. That's why thermal imaging isn't that great either. People go on and on about thermal imaging cameras, but it's picking up surface temperature. Everything creates a heat signature, and you're not measuring a ghost or spirit in between that thermal imaging camera and whatever it's picking up out there, because it can't. It's picking up heat-related objects that have mass, and it's physics and stuff. You can't really pick up something in between there with these devices, and people have that misconception that they pick up ghosts, but it's like when you run those temperature scanners, what you're looking for is surface changes, temperature changes in the surface itself. And like a wall, maybe the wall will become cold. If it drops 30 degrees and there's a cold spot on your wall for no reason, it's the middle of summer, it's 90 degrees out or something, and you get a weird surface temperature change, that could be paranormal, but you're not picking up an anomaly between you and the object. And that's what people think happens with those things. So I don't know. We've almost debunked the temperature stuff, the guns, like the non-contact infrared laser thermometers are called. And me and Dickerson did an experiment up at the school one night where we blew cold air. We blew ice and cold air in front of this to see if it could actually pick up ambient temperature changes coming through there, or cold breeze between the device and the wall, and it can't. The infrared beam's going through that and hitting the surface of the mass of the object that it's hitting, not an anomaly between it. So, a lot of your devices that are used for paranormal research, you see on TV, or you see people using them in these groups, have no idea what they're doing. It just baffles me. Some of the things they say is paranormal, just like the K2 hits. Oh my God, it's paranormal. Somebody gets a K2 hit. K2s drive me nuts. Oh my God. Every little electromagnetic source in the world will throw a K2 meter off. And do not get a K2 meter, Carrie. Just throw them out the window. Says I agree completely. Best evidence I ever had was a lantern turning off and hearing boots run at me. That's pretty cool. But yeah, K2 meters and EMF. I'm gonna go
Yeah.
on a rant before that. I mean, cell phones set them off, radio signals set them off, Wi-Fi sets them off. Everything that we have in today's world sets those things off. So you would have to be out in the middle of a cornfield with no power source, no cell phones running, no cameras, no radios, and within so many miles, to set these K2 meters off and have an actual hit that could be considered paranormal. And that's just an electromagnetic field hit. That's not a ghost. That's a change in the electromagnetic field. It's a jump in the field. So lots of things. EMF meters are highly misused in the field of paranormal research too. You got people running around thinking they're getting ghosts, and they're picking up their phones, their cameras, their everything electronic possible. And you have to kill the power completely to a house. You have to completely eliminate all sources of electricity and anything that will create an electromagnetic field in order to say that it's even close to being something paranormal with an EMF meter. So I don't know. People highly misuse this equipment. They don't know anything about the stuff they're researching. Becky says I'm a big
That's
fan
why,
of using
I
receivers.
highly just recommend.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Jareth.
Yeah. That's why I just highly recommend a voice recorder, motion detectors, because those things don't usually go off unless you have something that walks by it.
Right.
And then flashlights and just simple stuff like that. Not anything too high tech. I mean, yeah, I did have a spirit pod for the longest time, and it worked pretty well until a wire in it got disconnected. Then it started just going off by every phone and every walkie-talkie. Because when I first got it, it didn't go off for anything. You had to literally touch that for it to go off. No
Sure.
phones, no walkie-talkies, nothing set it off. You had to have something physical touch it the very first time I got it for it to go off. And we've had that happen a couple times
Yeah. Yeah.
at Ashmore a lot actually. And every time we would ask a question, it would go off and it would go off, and nothing would set that off unless you touched it. Now, since I had it for a long time, a cord came loose in it, and walkie-talkie would set it off, a phone would set it off, anything electronic would set it off. Your flashlight would even set it off. So, you have to be really careful with that stuff. So that's why you
Yeah.
just go back to the basics and just start using things that are easy and simple and not electronic. Yeah, I recommend EM pumps too because yes, they let a high frequency of magnetic field off, but then again, it actually allows things to happen because we've had a lot of experiences with turning those on and something happens.
Right.
Just don't leave
Definitely.
it on for too long, or you'll
Yeah.
start hallucinating.
Yeah. Yeah. Chandra says,
And laser grids too. I do recommend grids.
oh yeah, definitely. Says this live is a really good introduction into who you are, what you believe in your methods. Great for newbies like me. Cool, Chandra. Glad you're liking this one. Says ghost balls are like that. She's talking about basically the cat balls is what they're talking about, guys. They're LED. I assume that's what she's talking about. They're LED balls that light up when they get made. Something makes contact with them. It's like a cat toy, and it went crazy in the paranormal world recently. People are putting these cat toys or cat balls, ghost balls, whatever you want to call them. They're basically cat toys. They're LED light up balls that if you move them, they light up. With motion. It's for your cat to play with. But the paranormal world took these things and ran with them. I've seen a couple unusual things happen with them. I'm not against them at all. They do, if something makes contact with them, the lights will come on, and you can actually tell the ghost or spirit to hit them, and they will light up. And we've used them on several different occasions, and kind of got some weird results one time with them. But that's what some of these people are talking about. If you guys are unfamiliar with their term ghost balls or cat balls, that's what they're talking about, guys, I assume. Um, I hope that's the ghost balls they're talking about.
Like
Um, Go ahead.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that you can go out and you can purchase for ghost hunting, but I would just recommend I would just stay with the basic stuff. Like that's when you're gonna get the most experiences, and the most experiences you can actually believe is when you have like basic things that nobody else uses pretty much. Like everybody's so stuck on the new high tech stuff and like the REM pods and all of that. Yeah, those are great to have and those are cool to have, but they're not really can't believe. Like basic
Yeah.
stuff like, for instance, you have a REM pod sitting in one room and you have a motion detector sitting in another room. The motion detector goes off and the REM pod goes off. Like I would more look at how the motion detector went off than how the REM pod went off. Because the REM pod can just go off by itself for any electronic thing that happens, like say, I don't know, a wire shorts in the wall or something, the REM pod's gonna go off because that's electromagnetic and it picks up on electromagnetic stuff. And then you have the motion detector that went off because something literally walked through that range of sight that the motion detector has to make it go off, and there was nothing there. So you're gonna
Right.
base your thought on why that went off more than you are why this one. I guess that's just how I look at it, but that's
Yeah.
more believable to me when this goes off than the REM goes off, because like
Right.
that's something I can't explain or that I can look into on how that I can debunk that or how it actually happened or something paranormal actually passed through it. Then I can't with this because that would take me like 5 seconds to look.
Sure. That's cool.
I
That's
don't
from
know. I don't know if you
Australia.
can see me very well. Well, I get green.
What's that?
Huh?
I think these couple people in here,
The
a guy's
screen
from
froze on
Australia.
my side.
Oh yeah, but yeah, I said from Australia, I think. But yeah, Cammy Joe's bringing up a good point though. The flashlight method. She's wanting me. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Jared, but she was wanting me to explain the mag light method, the flashlight method that people use. We have highly debunked that. Big time debunked the flashlight method where they take mag lights and stuff, guys, and they put them out and they tell the ghost to turn the light on or off. You know, that is just a short in those lights. I mean, what you're doing is you're turning that mag light on. They have the light is activated by turning the head on the mag light, and you set it down there. Well, what you do is you turn the mag light to the point to where the light is being tricked almost to the point to where it doesn't know if it wants to come on or if it wants to stay off. It's basically a hoax. It's a trick. You're tricking the mag light into not knowing, like I say, whether it wants to turn on or stay off. So it causes almost like a short where sometimes it'll flicker, sometimes it'll come off, sometimes it'll go on. So the mag light method you see totally debunked. That is not legitimate paranormal activity. Do not use that method. I mean, if you want anybody with scientific paranormal research experience to believe your evidence or your you know, your stuff that you're getting. Because I mean, it's been debunked 100 times. I mean, it's definitely not something you guys want to use on investigations. The flashlight method. I mean, and a lot of people use the mag lights is because that's the easiest light to manipulate. You know, you can turn the head on that and get it to barely turn on, and that's what you want to do. And then it'll go on, go off. So yeah, it's a bad idea. But yeah, that's a good idea. Chandra's
Yeah,
saying, you
and to
know,
like go back to the
what's that, Jared?
oh yeah, no, go ahead. I'll talk about it when you're done.
I was just saying that's a good idea. What Chandra was saying about, yeah, leave the balls present so a camera can pick it up and then leave the room so that way you can see if they come on through the IR camera or the video camera. That's a real good idea. You know, we do that with a lot of stuff. You know, all types of motion activated devices and stuff. You know, we'll leave our cameras focused on it because if something goes off, we want to record it. That's the whole point. You know, we don't want to tell you something went off. That's why we don't like EMF meters until the invention of the eddy meter. You know, we use eddy meters sometimes too, and they use an SD card, and that actually documents electromagnetic field spikes. It documents pressure changes. It documents temperature changes, vibration changes, all to an SD card, and then we can look and see if any of these spikes in the electromagnetic field correspond with a temperature change or an air pressure change or a vibration or an EVP we might have recorded at the same time. You have multiple pieces of evidence indicating that something paranormal is going on, not just one. And before the invention of the Eddy meter that would actually document and record onto an SD card like it does now, with the old tri-fields, the tri-field naturals and everything, some people would actually rig them up to run into a computer and made a homemade system to where it would document this. But if you're not documenting electromagnetic field changes corresponding with a temperature drop and environmental changes that are associated with paranormal anomalies, you don't have any proof. So that's what you want. You want environmental changes that are paranormal in nature that you can't explain. Multiple things happening at the same time to indicate that something paranormal is going on. And to do that, you've got to document and record everything. I mean, you've got to document and record your EMF, your temperature changes, your photography, the time the photograph was taken, the time in EVP, you started your recorder to the time, you think that EVP was captured and if it associated with any of these environmental changes. So it's like a lot of stuff goes into paranormal research that, people don't see out there when we do our lives and everything. But trying to read some more comments. Now my camera's moving.
Yeah, a lot. I don't know. It's froze on my side, so.
I'm frozen?
Yeah, you're frozen. We both are. All I can hear is the audio.
Can you guys still hear and see us out there? We're probably going to call it a night here in a minute anyway. It's been a pretty good show, though. I mean, we talked about some cool stuff.
Yeah.
Bo, was you going to bring something up real quick?
Oh, yeah. No, it was back on a subject that somebody said a while back. Like, in my opinion, I think, honestly, ghost hunting is, if you believe in it, ghost hunting's for everybody. Like, not just, like, certain people, not just anybody. Oh, sorry to say that. Kind of messed myself up there. But ghost hunting's for everybody. You can go out anytime you want. Doesn't have to be with a group. Yes, I recommend having one or two people with you. So when you go out in the woods, you go out in a cemetery, because if you fall or injure yourself, then you're going to have other people around to help you. But if you go out there by yourself, and let's say you trip over a tombstone and hit your head, nobody's going to know that you were out there. So,
right.
Yeah, you can go out with a couple people and you can ghost hunt. You don't have to be with a group, but I recommend having one or two people with you. Like, there's been times, yes, that I'll go against that, go all by myself, but then I'm extremely careful and I try not to trip over things and I try not to fall, because I like going out by myself too, because more stuff tends to happen if you're by yourself. And that's why in one of the live streams that I did, I went by myself, because that cemetery is known to be haunted and it's known to have things happen when you're there by yourself. But yeah, I recommend going out and doing it, just buying cheap stuff to start with and just going out and do cemeteries first. Cemeteries are fun. And just find one that you think looks haunted or one that people have said is haunted, and just go out there and try, like, communicate. You don't even have to have equipment at first. You can just go out there and stand there in the cemetery and ask questions and listen to see if somebody answers. Like, you don't have to be with a group. You don't have to go to all these fancy places. You can just go out and you can just do anything in a cemetery.
Yeah.
But like I said, yeah, it's pretty easy.
I don't even want to think about the thousands and thousands of dollars I've spent on equipment, over the years. And it's like, the thing I fall back to the most is a digital recorder and, a simple camera. I mean, if I can grab one thing, I'm going out and ghost hunting. It's going to be an audio recorder, maybe a ghost box, some ITC communication device, but generally just a straight out audio recorder of some type, digital recorder. Like I say, I can explain most of the photographic stuff, even though, like, there could be that rare chance where you get an opportunity to put something paranormal. But definitely audio recorders. I mean, even if you get a cheap one off eBay, and the old ones are better. I'm serious, man. Those old ones are way better than the new ones do. I don't know. They just got a little bit.
if you see it, sorry to
What's
interrupt
that?
you. My bad. I said sorry to interrupt you. I kind of had a thought and it kind of just came out.
Oh yeah. Becky says, do you still keep your
Yeah.
digital recorder with the EVP? Now, that's a real good question. I'm glad she brought that up, guys. If you are thinking about getting into EVP research, ITC research, or you're a team out there, an investigator watching this, I know this gets expensive. And I mean, but to prove I didn't fake an EVP, because EVPs can be digitally manipulated through programs like Adobe Audition, Cool Edit, Audacity, different, audio programs. You could actually add stuff into them. So to make my EVPs more valid, anytime I record a really great EVP, I do not erase it. Like if my recorder gets full, I get a new recorder. Yeah, I know that's been extremely expensive for me over the years. I've got hundreds and hundreds of digital recorders laying around because when I fill them up, and I've got I do it in 3 to 5 minute segments on all my recordings. And when I fill one up, I've got a great EVP in a 5 minute segment. I don't delete it. I keep the whole thing because I want proof on my digital recorder, that proves that I actually recorded it onto that device. Yeah, somebody could have said it or faked it, but still I've got the original sound file, I've got the original recorder that it was recorded on. So yeah, that's what she's talking about. I think, yeah, I keep all my recorders still with any of my EVP evidence on it, and I just buy a new recorder when I fill it up. Most of the time people just delete the stuff and put it on their computer. I actually save everything, and just get a new one because but it's been extremely expensive doing that. It's not the cheapest route, but it's the most legit route if you want to prove that your evidence came straight from your recorder. You could still, yeah, somebody could have been there faking it, but it's still, you've got it on your recorder. But yeah, I think you got anything else, Jareth? We probably better end this one. Um, I think we're right at the 2 hour mark
Yeah,
on the show.
no, I don't think. Yeah, I don't have anything else now.
All right. So, yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and close it down for tonight, Jareth. I'm going to pull you out and end it. And I appreciate you being on. It's been a good show. So,
Yeah, no problem.
maybe we can have you back on next Monday if your
Alrighty.
schedule. So.
Oh, maybe we'll see.
All right, man.
Sounds good. I'll see you
Have
later.
a good evening. All right. Thanks, Jareth.
You too. Yep. Bye.
Bye. All right, guys, that was Jareth Pinkston, one of my team members, and pretty good show tonight. We got into some just all kinds of random stuff, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. Also, if you guys like the format tonight, I mean, if the camera looks a little better, audio better, let me know too, and we'll try it the same way next go around. But also, if you guys want to see more educational stuff, maybe next Monday we can do that too. If you guys like the educational stuff, kind of like we did tonight, talking about different equipment, different methods, we can go over that stuff too, on our Monday night talk show, make it, some educational nights and kind of teach you guys, more about equipment and how to use it and the equipment that we can debunk and say, hey, don't stay away from this particular piece or that particular piece. So, pretty awesome. Thanks everybody for watching tonight. Got a lot of people tuning in. Karen, Linda, Doy, Jen, everybody tonight. I want to thank everybody. Tammy Jo, Chandra, Rebecca, Becky, Robbie. Robbie Robinson's on there, I think, still. So thank you guys for watching. And we'll catch you on the next one. We'll probably be going live sometime here soon for a live investigation again. And we got some big news coming up. Like I say, we've got a really, really cool place we're going to be investigating that we've been talking about for a while. So it's going to happen, and we'll make the announcement as soon as we can. Have a good evening, everybody, and we'll try to do some more educational stuff on the next one.